It was legitimately inspired from a tractor cab, just driving, and we were hauling cattle manure in the spring as the sun was doing its job, and I was just like, oh, it's so messy and all of that, and I thought, light bulb.
This one's Freeze and Thaw. This is Bo's, I believe he allowed me to say that this is his least favorite song on the album. And I don't know, I really like the guitar solo, and I kind of like it. So I guess we disagree.
This song is, so really in a nutshell, it's just about the process of sanctification. But the broader context of it is sort of rooted in this conviction I have that all around us there are earthly illustrations that reveal eternal truths to us. And obviously the one for this song was just the seasonal freezing and thawing of the soil, how through that process as farmers we have to deal with a lot of rocks, because as the years go in and out, and I don't know how it works, but somehow through the freezing and thawing process, it moves rocks to the surface. And I think of that as, our stay on Earth, all of our flaws, like we deal with flaws one at a time, and new ones come to the surface, and we deal with them as they come. And that was illustrative to me of the process of sanctification. So I wrote a song about it. I'm starting to realize that I have some sort of mental block with songs being good enough, because this is like the second time now where a song that is wound up on an album was started as a joke. And I feel like it says something about just being able to relax and just let the music be, instead of thinking like, no, that part's too simple, or I've done something like that before that non-musical people will never even hear.
So when I was in junior high, there was a local radio DJ who came to our school and did his show from our playground or something. I don't know why. He just had this little tent set up, and he was giving away free stuff, and trying to get all the kids excited about 107.5 or something. And I was the blessed recipient of an alarm clock that was branded for Surge. It was a Surge clock, and I thought it was pretty cool. So I got home and I plugged it in, and I set the alarm for the next morning, expecting a normal alarm, It was like, it's gonna wake me up for school. And I was sleeping soundly, and 7:30 or whatever rolls around, and the alarm goes off, and it goes, Surge! And I about peed my pants, obviously, because I thought there was a man in the room yelling at me. And so so that is the story of the legendary Surge clock.
We just kind of had an inside joke about it with my buddy Jeff, and I thought, I'm going to surprise Jeff with a metal song where the vocals are just that clock going, Surge! And I pitch shifted it too, so that when it broke down into a halftime, it went, Surge! It was pretty fun.
Safe to say I never used that alarm clock again.
But the other song that was actually written as a joke was Plowshares Part 2. And I won't go into details, but it was, the vocals for that song were sound clips from Son-in-Law, the Pauly Shore movie. So we'll just leave it at that. One of the most important concerts that I had been to in terms of shaping my musical taste and maybe musical ambitions, if you want to call it that, I don't know, was seeing Murder by Death at the M Shop in probably 03, 04. And it's one of my favorite concerts of all time. They played Who Will Survive and What Will Be Left of Them straight through. And obviously I was there to see Murder by Death. And I didn't know anything about the opening bands. Didn't care, honestly. And my buddy Dustin and I were just hanging out early like you do, except it's Iowa, so like the people are in and out and you talk to them. And he was talking to the singer of Murder by Death. I think his name is Adam Churla. Adam said, "Have you heard the opening band, Snake the Cross the Crown?" Dustin said, "No." And he said, "Their tone is perfect." And I just remember thinking, okay. And all of a sudden we got in there and I was just a little excited. And they completely blew me away. And I have a distinct memory of the second song they played was Empires. And I just have the most distinct memory of Franklin over there with his Telecaster starting the song with just one of the coolest riffs of all time, I think. And Adam was right. That tone was seared into my brain. And from that day on, I knew that a Telecaster through an AC30 was just like the holy grail for me. And I'm really grateful that now I get to play that combination. And this song is kind of an homage to that. The major chorus and the simple chord structure was kind of a tip of the hat to Snake the Cross the Crown. But more than anything, the guitar solo is just something repetitive and melodic, not showboating. It's just all about the music. And so this song is really supposed to just showcase my love for that band and their sound. And it's just kind of my spin on it.
One thing we hear pretty often is that we sound like more than three people. And the second verse of Freeze and Thaw is a pretty cut and dry example of that, or part of how we pull that off. And so my left hand is playing a bass on the synth, and it's kind of fuzzy and has a rhythm to it. And then the right hand is playing a totally different part on the Rhodes. And so it's just got different rhythms and different registers and different tones. And so it really sounds more like two people than one person, and just gives it that extra layer. The story behind that is, kind of how I came to be a keys player / bassist. So when we formed Hill and Vale, we were kind of the remnants of a former band, and there was just kind of the three of us, and there was Bo on guitar, and then we had a drummer, and then we had me, and I was like, well, I could kind of just play the lower registers and kind of carry that bass along. Because we, the three of us, we'd been playing together for a long time, and there was just that chemistry that we didn't really want to mess with. But I feel like with this whole album, really, I kind of started thinking more like a bassist and thinking in terms of bass lines and not just kind of writing it because it needed something, but just kind of trying to make it more of like just thinking as a bassist. That was one thing that kind of developed throughout the course of writing this album.
The partner song to this one on the second EP is called Part and Parcel. And where this song sheds more light on the struggle of wanting progress while also not necessarily having the ability to be actively involved, but like it's more something that happens to you. And just the tension of wanting to see that progress while also not being capable in and of yourself to bring it about. Whereas the other song, we'll get there.